All right, everyone, welcome into the Marvel Snap Show. I'm the Jolly Roger, and today I'm back with another card review for one of the most anticipated cards to ever hit Marvel Snap. And is it one of the best cards to ever hit Marvel Snap? Well, let's find out. Today we'll be taking a look at this guy, Kang the Conqueror, the newest card in Marvel Snap, a Series 5 card, one of the three big bads, effectively, of Marvel Snap, which basically means that he will join Kang will join Thanos and Galactus in Series 5 and will not drop below Series 5, which means you'll always have to buy him for 6,000 tokens, whether you would like to purchase him now, next week, in a year. Obviously, this could potentially change, but for now, what we know is they won't be dropping. So, actually, as far as collector's tokens go, these are the three best cards to spend it on because, again, your tokens won't depreciate in value. Every other card will eventually drop to Series 4 and then Series 3, so you can get them for cheaper later, and you're essentially just paying to have them now, whereas these cards, you're actually buying them. So, want to jump into my thoughts on Kang. I've been doing some play testing. I have some thoughts, and I do have a ranking for which order you should buy the big three in. So we'll get to that at the end of the video. So, first of all, Kang is a 5-cost, 0 power card. His ability is on reveal, look at what your opponent did, then restart the turn without Kang. Couple things here. Since it is an on reveal, this can be countered by Cosmo. For example, when you play it, essentially what happens is you play Kang, and if you played any other cards with him, they will flip. Your opponent's cards will flip, and then the turn will reset. Once you reset the turn, Kang will be gone, and you'll effectively replay the turn. Both you and your opponent will. So you have the opportunity to play cards that you didn't play last turn because you played Kang, and your opponent has the opportunity to play the same play they made or change things up. So that's the base understanding of Kang. Few interesting things about him is he does maintain the RNG that would happen in that turn. So, for example, if you play Agent 13, and Agent 13 gives you a Juggernaut, then if you play Agent 13 again, you will also get a Juggernaut on that next turn. So he doesn't change the RNG of the turn that's going to happen. If you play a Juggernaut and it moves someone else's cards, then it will move them to the same place. So effectively, the RNG of the turn will stay intact. If you'll draw the same card, you'll have the same hand minus Kang. So that's kind of how he works on that end. Now, Kang, the card that you could kind of compare him to is Daredevil. Daredevil actually lets your opponent take their turn, and then it locks their turn in and then lets you see what they played and effectively react to it. But it only can happen on turn 5, whereas Kang lets both players replay the same turn. If you use Moon Girl and get 2 Kangs, then playing one Kang will not remove the other, so you would get 2 Kangs, and they do play independently of each other. If both players play Kang on the same turn, then obviously it'll just reset and they'll both be gone. So Kang does operate independent of other versions of him in the game. So that's also an important note. You cannot copy Kang with an Absorbing Man ability because Kang will not have existed because he disappears from the game. So Absorbing Man will copy the card you played before Kang if it has an on-reveal ability, not Kang himself. So that will not work. There's some other nuances with him. There's obviously an infinite loop. I posted a video on this on the channel already, so if you want to see that, check it out. This was effectively a way to, if you could get Kang on the board without triggering his ability, and then use Zola, which effectively you would use Cosmo and Iron Fist to drop Kang on a Cosmo lane and then have Iron Fist push him over one, hit him with a Zola. You could effectively trap your opponent in a loop where you can repeat the Kang turn over and over and over and over again endlessly until they either retreat or you win. This is pretty toxic and not good for the game, so I wouldn't recommend trying to pull that off, but I recorded it just for the purposes of the channel, for content creation, and just so you could see how it was, but I have not done it since, nor do I plan to. Now, to get into my actual thoughts on Kang, I think he's an interesting card. I think he has potential. I think his best uses are actually not anything to do with actually the gameplay, but more of like the win rate and cube rate of the game. So effectively, what you can do with Kang is snap the turn that you play him, and like the turn, your snap will be reset. So effectively, he's a free bluff against your opponent. So Obviously, if the game's close and you snap, your opponent has to consider, do they want to go into this final round with the cubes on the line or end the game with the cubes on the line? So you can safely snap, especially if you have priority with Kang, knowing that any cubes that you risk now will be reset, and if it doesn't go favorably for you, you can always retreat for whatever's on the line right now. So that's probably his biggest thing. What I've personally used him the most for is to tech cards, specifically in Galactus decks. So if you play Galactus on turn 5 through ramping him out, and then you have Null in your hand, and you want to see essentially if they're going to Shang-Chi him, then I would definitely drop Kang. If they have Shang-Chi, cool. Now I know to avoid that. For example, if they're playing Doc Ock, they pull out your Kang will trigger, or you can see that they're planning that. The same cards Doc Ock pulled, he'll pull again. So minus Kang if you get rid of Kang. So those are some things that I used him for the most. But because both players get to effectively replay their turn, a lot of times I was playing Kang when either he wasn't necessary, like I could have won the games that I won without him, and there are a lot of games that I lost playing him that I was just staying in to play him, and then I ended up retreating. So I don't feel like overall he had a massive impact on my ability to win a game by the information he got me. Usually it was more me retreating because I didn't like where the match was going, and so I decided, you know what, I'm out, I'm not going to risk it. So these were effectively some of the main things that I experienced while playing Kang. Overall, I think he's a little bit underwhelming, especially as a permanent Series 5 card compared to Galactus and Thanos. I think that I like the style of Daredevil better, where your opponent locks in their turn and then you effectively get to react. And I honestly think that if Kang was that, but a mobile version where he could be played as an on-reveal card instead of a locked-in turn 5 card, I would think he would be a lot stronger, because I like the fact that with Daredevil, your opponent can't change their turn. You just get to see it, and you can retreat if you want, but if you don't want to, you can counter it, right? So overall, I think this card is interesting, and I think it will probably get better over time as people understand how and when to use it. But overall, it's left me feeling a little bit underwhelmed based off of sort of my expectations of what it could be. Now, fair point, when Galactus came out, he was a little bit underwhelming. When Thanos came out, he was definitely underwhelming. And now those cards are both in a pretty good place, and they feel like they're worthy of that Series 5 permanent big bad status. And so I'm hopeful Kang will get there. Now, an important question that I think is worth discussing is that now there are 3 permanent Series 5 cards in the game, Thanos, Galactus, and Kang. What order should you buy them in? If you are saving up collector's tokens, especially in March right now, you're getting the Token Tuesday bundles with more collector's tokens. All of these things are getting you more tokens. If you've finished Series 3 and you're just starting in Series 5, you're getting more collector's tokens. So what do you spend all these collector's tokens on? Well, let me tell you. Today, right now, I would recommend getting Thanos first. I think Thanos is, in my opinion, the best card in the game. If you have Lockjaw and you have a couple big cards, you can build a viable Lockjaw deck. It's the best card in the game. Thanos is effectively 7 cards for 1. All the stones are great. Some are better than others, but none of them are bad. And Thanos got a buff recently, so now he's 11 power minimum. A solid, viable 6-cost card, even if you don't proc him with the Power Stone and playing all the stones. So, highly recommend Thanos as the best card in the game. I would second get Galactus. And I think the reason why is that Galactus feels very strong, and he has a defined archetype. He has a defined way to play him, and it's viable. It's like a tier 2 deck, usually in the meta, sometimes tier 3, but it's never a horrible deck. It's usually just a little bit linear, but I think with Nimrod coming out and some other destroy cards, and Null becoming more accessible, Galactus is a better second choice. Now, the exception to that would be if you know you're going to love Galactus and you know who you are, go ahead and get Galactus. You'll enjoy playing him if you like that play style. But otherwise, get Thanos first, Galactus second, and then pick up Kang eventually. I think he would be a solid third place in those rankings right now. If you have Kang, let me know if you've enjoyed him, what your thoughts are on him. Are you planning on picking him up? Are you excited about him? Let me know your thoughts, and if you enjoy the content on this channel, please consider giving me a follow and a like. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time.